Okay, public speaking tip number 7. This one's good. We've talked about your forte. We've talked about establishing know, like, and trust with the audience. And now, now it's time to talk about, well, I guess it's time to talk about what you're going to talk about. Public speaking tip number 7. Decide what you're going to talk about and why. Now, this is, for some reason, for some reason, this, well, it's hard to do for a lot of people. I guess there's so much to talk about, or some people feel that they don't have anything to talk about. But you know what? You've got so much to talk about that the new problem is figuring out exactly what you're going to talk about and why. It's time to narrow it down, narrow it way down. What are you going to talk about and why? Now, this is one that I talk about all the time with the speakers, the professional speakers that I work with on a day-to-day basis. And one of the first questions I ask them is, what are you going to talk about? You have to decide what you're going to share and why. Why is it relevant to the audience? Now, a lot of people, they draw this out and it takes a long time, but I'm going to give you a secret. This can be done in less than 5 minutes or less. There's no reason. You don't have to you don't have to think about it for days and weeks and weeks. I've met people in different programs, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to talk about. I once met a guy at Hamway event, and he was up on stage talking, and he said, "You know what? I've been doing this for 15 years, but I just don't have anything to talk about." 15 years he's been talking, and he doesn't have anything to talk about, and he's wondering why he's not being paid to speak. Listen, 5 minutes or less, we're going to figure out exactly what you should talk about and why. Now, if you get the book, it's my favorite. This one's my copy. Hey, I've got this one right here for you. Get the book, right? And I think it's chapter 2. We start talking about what are you going to talk about and why. And you should only talk about things that you're passionate about. You should only talk about things that you're passionate about and you have a certain level of degree of proficiency or knowledge of. Don't talk about things that you don't know anything about. Don't talk about things that aren't beneficial to you or the audience. Now, let's think about this. You're going to be a professional speaker. You're going to be a public speaker. You're going to be speaking. What are you going to talk about and why? What's your message? Every speaker that I've watched and I've talked to, that I've mentored, that I've coached, one of the things that I've learned is that every speaker simply has about 1 or 2 messages that they share with the entire world. 1 or 2 messages. Some have a few more, and the more often that you speak, the longer you speak, the more messages you'll have. But for the most part, most of them have 1 or 2 messages. And here's what's unique. Those 1 or 2 messages can usually be shrunk down. We can usually squeeze them way down to about 1 or 2 sentences. That's it. 1 or 2 sentences. You see, it's kind of like it's kind of like this, right? If you were going to give a 10, 15, 20, 30-minute presentation, if that was your allotted time, and I came to you and I said, you know what? Well, I want you to tell me in 1 to 2 sentences. So what? What's your message? Trim it down. Describe it to me in 1 to 2 sentences. And this is extremely simple. It's so simple that here's what I want you to do. I want you don't have to press pause. I'm going to pause this for you. But I want you to take 5 seconds. I want to take a few minutes. 5 minutes. If you got your timer and you really want to pause it, pause the video, press your timer for 5 minutes. Stop right now and think about it. If I could only say what it is that I want to say in 1 to 2 sentences, if I wanted to give my message, what is my message in 1 to 2 sentences or less? Think about that. Write it down right now. Write down your message. I did this one time, and my message was this. It was very simple. And it kind of goes like this. And it's that I don't care what you've been told. You can be, do, and achieve anything that you put your mind to. I don't care where you're from, what you've been through, but you can be, do, and achieve anything that you put your mind through. 2. And anyone who tells you otherwise, well, they're lying. If they tell you that you can't do it, they're lying. That's the basic message. That's what I wrote down. What's your message? What's your basic message? Go ahead and take a few minutes. Write it down now. Write that down, and I'll see you on the next video. Tip number 8. I'll see you. This is number 7. Decide what you're going to talk about and why. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out, my friends.